What's up? I'm Diaz. I did it. What's up? The UFC thought they gonna get me, but I came up. What up? Yeah. It's not gonna get whooped. I didn't even try this fight. I still won. I still choked him out. Shoot. Comes up on me. Shoot. What up? What's going on? I'm making a quick video after UFC 279. Crazy, man. Crazy. Um, this video I'm doing parts. Like, comment, subscribe. First, I gotta say, let's do Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. Nate Diaz stops Tony Ferguson by guillotine. Nate Diaz was beating him the whole time. He was also playing him. Tony Ferguson couldn't really land anything on this dude. Like, it was crazy. Nate Diaz was training boxing. I think a lot of people was concerned that he wasn't going to try. But he tried, and Tony Ferguson, I'm shocked. I had told Tony Ferguson winning this fight. Thank God I didn't bet on this fight. And he just dismantled Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson tried to do head movement and stuff, but he was still getting hit. And then I think it was his left eye that had his weird, oh yeah, the left eye had a cut from one of the punches, and like, I can't believe it. Nate Diaz just didn't care, but his boxing is so underrated. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, that his boxing is so underrated. And his career, like, it's just crazy because the fights or his losses don't represent what was going on in the fight. Like, literally, dude was a freaking legend. He is a freaking legend, man. Props to him. I don't know what the UFC is gonna do, but a fight like that, showing that he still got the skill set, that really branded his career after the UFC. And we'll see what happens in the UFC, right? Conor McGregor might talked about, they might fight sometime. Don't know when, where, but they might do it. And then we got to talk about Tony Ferguson. What's next for him, because everybody expected him at least win this fight. It was winnable, but he really didn't do much. He tried to strike and all that stuff, mix it up with leg kicks and stuff, but he just, like, I don't know, he seemed slow, and I thought his training would be good. But it seemed like he shows his stance and everything, and that little head movement and turning. He's been doing that forever. And I didn't see anything really new. And then he tried to go for a takedown. Didn't even work. Like, stuffed. I'm like, Nate Diaz is low-key, like, an elite athlete, bro. Like, Tony Ferguson tried to go for a takedown. It was not having it. Nate Diaz was not having it. He was like, oh, man, this ain't, nope. So, for Tony Ferguson, man, I hope he got paid really good for that fight, though, because he was a legend. He fought everybody just like, well, I was going to say, like, just like Nate Diaz. But Tony Ferguson literally fought everybody. He's an OG for sure. And I wish nothing but the best for him, man. Like, what should he do? I'm not a big fan of telling people to retire. But at least if he gets fun fights, that'd be cool. Like, maybe a Conor McGregor fight for an extra payday. You know, just fun fights now instead of championships. He tried, man, but he just seems slower, you know. And I was excited about the welterweight Tony Ferguson. I'm thinking this dude's gonna be like a lot faster, you know, power. He just couldn't land shots. It was just like an offbeat rhythm. And that's the thing too. You think about when a person has to change all the shit they had to do throughout their career, right? Because of losses by the end of their career. It just seemed like changing it up kind of messed up the flow of what he was doing. And so, like, it changed everything. So Tony Ferguson might retire after this. We never know. Or just have more fun fights. Conor McGregor fight. Hopefully, he gets a payday or something like that. That'd be nice. Conor McGregor might be at 170. So, yeah. Sad to say. Now, let's also talk about Nate Diaz again. What does this mean, right? All this fiasco with the weight cuts and the Khamzat switching to fight Kevin Holland. What does it mean for Nate Diaz's career? Well, it's a plus up, right? If he decides to leave, his stock went up. His boxing looked really good. If he goes into boxing, I mean, he's gonna make a payday. My question is, why didn't UFC co-host a boxing just like Conor McGregor? Nate Diaz is a fucking legend. What if UFC said, hey, we'll make a deal with you with fights and UFC and a Jake Paul fight? Why didn't they host that? I think let's talk about what happened with Nate Diaz and the mismatch in his career as far as like his marketing. Because the UFC messed up. Now, I don't know if it's Dana White, I think it could be Hunter and all these guys, the promoters. I think they really messed up Nate Diaz's value. And the main example that I have is when he was supposed to fight Dustin Poirier, and they're at a press conference or something, and they posted Conor McGregor like a video of Conor McGregor and shit like that, and Nate Diaz walked right out of it. Now from there, people are like, why would he walk out and all this stuff? But now it makes sense. It all makes sense. Nate Diaz is smarter than what people think. It all makes sense. That moment, that's when I realized that what he was revealing is this. UFC, the UFC, man, it really is just a business. And the simple fact that they didn't realize his net worth and continue to promote Conor McGregor, knowing that Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor. In his mind, he beat him once. In the second fight, it was pretty close that you couldn't argue for him to beat him too, even though Conor McGregor did have some knockdowns, so that could definitely affect the fight. But it was still close. He was close to a finish too in that fight. That the UFC did not promote him right. The UFC did not promote him right, and it's not about money with Nate Diaz, really. I mean, fighter as it should be. I mean, it is about money, but Nate Diaz value is also it's money, but the first thing is respect, bro. Like respect, and the fact that he even said in the interviews coming to this fight, which he's totally right, dude. He's totally right. He mentioned that like people try to fight for championships, right? They fight for championships to try to make money, more money, which is true. But like, what ends up happening is they lose. Everybody loses. You just never know. You just have a bad day, and once you don't get that title, you try to fight for the title again, fight for the title again. Eventually you'll stop fighting for titles, and what ends up happening is that quest to get the gold and the money eventually stops, and you waste your career. So picture Nate Diaz's career. This is how Nate Diaz won, and what he's saying is, you got to be marketable. You got to market yourself, right? You got to be yourself, because if you can figure out a way to be in the UFC, to be marketable, having like memorable fights, that will keep you in the UFC. The people that go for titles and can't do it no more, they're trapped. There's nothing they can do because they're not sellable. They're not, they're not doing anything for the UFC. They're the ones that get cut. And then after that, you have another life of, oh my God, it's realization of I got to do all this stuff outside the UFC because I couldn't do it in the UFC. You understand? So like, dude, what I'm saying is this. Nate Diaz just gave us the blueprint. Seriously. Be marketable. Have memorable fights. he said that most of these fighters try to like survive and try to get the wins by these boring fights and stuff like that. Nate Diaz is like, I don't do none of that. He's like, what I do is pretty much is be me. I put on excited fights. People want to see me fight. Why is Dana White needs to figure out his board because somebody's missing the big stars. He needs somebody that realizes who are the potential big stars. And the thing too about it is he got to start paying these dudes, man. I'm sorry, but and I know it's a company, right? That's how it is. You're not supposed to be doing all that, but if all your big stars is leaving, dude, and they're making money elsewhere, that looks really bad. It looks really bad on the UFC, and he knows that. He's not that dumb. When the UFC kept trying to offer Nate Diaz more money, he declined it because they didn't first get it the respect that he deserved. Nate Diaz should have got more respect. And Nate Diaz, the real as it comes, he was like, "Look, I got a hate love relationship." After that Tony Ferguson fight, he's like, "I got a hate love relationship with the UFC, man." He's like, and I don't think it's his fault. I don't think it's his fault. They say the UFC tries to always turn on him like, "Oh, he doesn't want to fight." Any fighter that doesn't want to fight, the UFC's like, "Oh, he doesn't want to fight." Okay, so I get the contract thing. That's one thing I think about. Okay, what is in your contract, right? True. What is in your contract? That's very true. But then, hopefully, like things like this, situations like this, where like last minute replacements and all that. Okay, what does the contract say about that? You get extra money for that, right? And then miss weight, you get a purse, obviously. But what about changes in fights? That should be more money too, because with your training camp and all that stuff, it could be totally different than what it turns out to be. So, what do you do about that? You know what I mean? What do you do about that? So, Nate Diaz, man, whatever he does, he's a legend. He exposed the sport for what it is. And he's like, you got to make your money, man. You got to be marketable. You got to have something that people talk about. That's why interviews, all that stuff, he gets so many freaking views because he became a legend. See, what he did was he became a person that the belt is not attached to who he is. So when he lost fights, people are like, man, that's a memorable fight. Which is crazy how he changed that from winning a fight. That's great on Nate Diaz if he wins a fight. But if he loses, he's like, hey, it's Nate Diaz. That's how he marketed himself. Like, he's just going to put on great fights. He don't care about winning. And that's what got him paid. That's what got him the immunity of, man, they're probably going to re-sign him no matter how many losses he got. And then he gets a win. So that puts his market way more up. Or people are going to want to sign Nate Diaz. But apparently he's supposed to be having like his own fight promotion and stuff like that. So that I'm going to support that as well. I think that's worth it. I'm just glad for Nate Diaz, man, because he's a realist. He's a realist, man. He's a realist. I just can't believe it. Nate Diaz was just chilling the whole fight. Like, I'm just like, wow. Wow, dude. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Nate Diaz. The UFC's in a pickle right now. They're going to try to do their best to re-sign this dude. And in my opinion, before I leave, I don't think this was part of the plan. I think Khamzat versus Nate Diaz was supposed to happen. I really do. Because knowing he was on his way out, Dana White would have had the best pleasure of saying, that kid should retire. really devalue his stock, because if he got whooped by Kamzat, he would have been like, man, that kid should retire. Or if he got whooped by Tony Ferguson, oh, yeah, he should retire. He had a great career, but he should retire. Say some snarky stuff like that to lower his value for other promotions, right? And stuff like that. But now he won and looked good. Dana White can't say nothing. He's like, man, this dude won last fight on his contract, and now he can be gone. So yeah, Dana White is not happy about it. He can't be. So if he makes more money, that's a threat. Literally. Yeah, man. Nate Diaz is the guy to do it. They're his ass. It's funny because Nate Diaz was their asset, but also their liability at the same time of the career. The freaking irony of it. He was their asset, but also their liability at the same time. Coming at the end of it. That asset was expense, bro. It's crazy. Their asset became their liability. Nate Diaz. Whew. What's up? I'm Nate Diaz. I did it. What's up? The UFC thought they gonna get me, but I came up. What up? Yeah. It's not gonna get whooped. I didn't even try in this fight. I still won. I still choked him out. Shoot, comes up on me. Shoot. What up?